Hey Kevin,
Hi, Hailey.
how are we doing today?
I'm all right. It's been a rough couple of weeks since we last saw one another.
Yeah.
My wife, her addiction issues have flared up again, and she's relapsed and selling everything. And I'm working all day, and then spending my evenings chasing down TVs and computers and electronics at pawn stores. And I'm not, I just don't know how to help her anymore.
I'm so sorry that she relapsed. That's really gotta be hard. And for you to be working so much, I know we talked about that's just a lot going on.
It really makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong because, as you know, I am in recovery,
Yeah.
and it's it just makes me feel inadequate and that I'm not doing something right with her because I can't help her. I've tried.
Yeah. It sounds like you're kind of putting your worth in if she's healthy. Is that kind of what you feel?
When she's healthy, everything's great, but at the same time, during those healthy periods,
Yeah.
in the back of my head, I'm always waiting for it to go south and take a turn towards where we are now. And I don't know how much more of it I can take. I don't really know what else to do anymore, Dr. Hailey.
Yeah. Is she still going to group, or is she kind of?
No, I Marchman acted her, and she went to treatment for 90 days.
Okay.
And she got out, and I think she made it 30 days clean.
Okay.
Following the treatment. She always said that she was going to meetings and whatnot, but since I wasn't able to go with her 75% of the time, she was left to her own devices. Because I was at work, I don't know. I don't know if she went and if she was actually doing the things that she said she was doing. I don't even really know if she made it the full 30 days before relapsing.
Wow. So where is she now?
She's at home.
Okay.
Probably passed out on the couch. And when I come home from work and I find her like that, it's very hard on me.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. That has got to be so tough. And I mean, I can see where you would think that you're inadequate or doing something wrong. I think you have to remember, though, Kevin, that her health is not based on what you do, which is really hard because you are married and do love each other. I think that can become cloudy sometimes because you do care for her.
Yeah, I do care for her, and it's really bringing me down and taking me to a dark place. Coming home and dealing with all of the issues in the house. Things are being neglected. Things aren't being done. So I as you know, I work, and she is to play the role of homemaker, and those things are all just being neglected now, and things are in a state of disarray, and that's only leading me further down into the rabbit hole of depression and just not knowing what to do.
Can you tell me more about what it looks like when you are in this rabbit hole?
It's dark and it's lonely and emotional, and I have a very difficult time seeing any light at the end of it, and it's just unbearable, Hailey.
Yeah.
It's unbearable. And it makes it so that I'm beginning to find myself struggling to function in the capacity that I'm required to function day to day.
Yeah.
Having to carry the whole load. And I don't want to leave her because till death do us part. It means something to me, but I feel like at this point, me continuing to allow her to live under our roof this way is maybe not helping her.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can see where, does she have any hobbies or anything, or what does she do for herself besides this addiction?
Well, when she is sober, she rides her bike a lot. She used to go for walks a lot. She read, and she spent a lot of time with her family, her mother and her brothers and her sisters. But when she's like this, she just cuts everyone off. Is super irritable and just isolates. You know, she won't read. She won't ride the bike. I just feel like she's endlessly chasing whatever it is that she's doing.
Did you see any signs of her relapse before it happened, or was this more out of the blue? You thought she was doing well? How did that kind of come to about?
Well, you know, we go through these periods where she does well, but it's the same repetitive cycle over and over again. So in the back of my head, I always feel like this is imminent. But the signs weren't really there for me this time, based upon what I was being told by her, which I guess were probably mostly lies looking back.
Okay. So, Kevin, do you feel like at this point you want to keep fighting? Or where are you at when it comes to that big question?
I think I'm tired of fighting for this marriage. I think I need to find the strength to carry on without it. But that's where I'm, struggling, and when I become really depressed, because I've always had these fears of being alone. Because I told you previously in a different session, my dad, when he got divorced, he's a hermit. So my head is I'm fearful of becoming like my dad, which is just like this quirky old dude that spends all his time cooking in his kitchen alone for himself.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to see myself walking away from her, even though I am beginning to understand that that's exactly what needs to happen. I just can't picture the roadmap clearly of how to do it.
Did you think that this was going to be in the roadmap before?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. Maybe those roadmaps are meant to be deviated from.
I think you have something there. Yeah.
I might. Good point.
Yeah, I think it's also hard. The fear of becoming our parents is very real. But I think something so important is that we create our map, and we also don't know the destination at all times. So I think that those things are good to think about, but we can't predict it. I mean, we did not predict this. So I think that if you still care about her, I think there's a way to say her health is more important and your health is important. And I don't think that it's bad to look at what would be most healthy for you. What would it look like for you to not be in the rabbit hole, but to feel joy? Like if you had a perfect world, life, what would that work to home look like for you?
I think that I would go to work and do what I do and work hard and support myself and the people that I love, and come home to a happy, healthy house without the drama and the chaos of addiction.
So what do you think that you do now for yourself to bring you out of that rabbit hole? Or how do you keep your head above water now?
That's a great question. It's really hard for me. I find myself being able to go to the gym less and less. All of those self-care things that we've talked about before are happening more and more infrequently.
Yeah.
Because I'm becoming more of a homemaker and caretaker myself at my house. So I really find myself having less and less time for myself. And the only way I can see that changing is if she leaves, but I don't know where she'll go. I don't know where she'll go. She's been to treatment. Her family, they don't have the means, and I don't know. Maybe she can go to her mom's.
Yeah, I know you did say she likes to spend time with her family when she was sober.
She does.
That might be a conversation of your encouragement to where she could go if this comes to that point. But I think something to remember is you need to keep yourself healthy, and in a marriage where it's a vows to have to each other, if someone's not keeping their end of the vow and you've done all that you can, I think that is really something to think about if this is going to keep you healthy and keep you living a life of joy and not in the pit at all times. Because I don't think that that's where we want to live at all.
No. I need to figure out how to get away, and up to this point, I haven't even been able to tell her family. I suspect they know due to the lack of communication, but when her mother calls me and asks me how she's doing, I just say she's fine. She's just very busy doing the things that she does.
Yeah.
Which is hard for me too, because now I'm lying to her family.
Yeah.
And I think I need to find a way to maybe tell them, what has happened again, and maybe ask for some help from them.
Yeah, I definitely think that you need to feel supported in this. I think that isolation is not good. I think that you should talk to her family. Is there a way that you think you could call her mom, or would you feel more comfortable talking to her in person?
I think I could do it on the phone if I could just pick it up and put my mind set to do it.
Okay.
And telling my family about all of this is just another mess.
Yeah.
And, they haven't really, they haven't ever fully embraced her because of her struggles and our struggles together previous to my sobriety. So the family aspect of this situation is tough because you don't want to lose the love and support you have from your family, and you don't want to hear "I told you so"s from your mom.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know that feeling. I think that your family is going to care about your health and well-being. So I think first and foremost, that should be what you think about is who's my support system, who can support me in this. And I think you should let them in. I think let them support you before you go to her family. I think that would be a good kind of motivation for you to get the support of your family. Do you think that that's something that you could do?
I think it's something I could do and I need to do. I don't think that I can separate myself from her without them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just too hard alone.
Yeah. It's
too hard alone, and with all my own issues with being alone, I certainly would need my family. Yeah. So I'm going to have to try to find a way to speak with them openly and honestly about the situation, and maybe ask for some help.
Yeah, and you're definitely not alone in this. I think that addiction especially tries to isolate people, and there's a wider range of who's going through this. I think the fact that you have a family around you, they want to support and love you. So I think that you should definitely let them in on this.
Yeah, I think I will work on that for sure. I am my mother's only son, so there's no doubt that she would support me. I just don't want to turn it into a witch hunt against her because she's sick.
Yeah. I think that's something that to focus on in your conversation with your mom. Like, you show how much you care about her by saying this is about her health and not about attacking her. I think that if you focus on that in the conversation and get her on board to support you, then you have another person behind you for when you talk to her mother, Is that something that you feel comfortable doing next week, or?
I think so. I think it's time that these conversations with the appropriate folks happen. I
Okay.
don't think waiting any longer is going to be conducive to a healthy outcome for anyone,
Yeah.
me or the wife.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I think you should do that this week. Let me know how it goes. I can connect you with some other people who have family struggling
That would
with
be great.
addiction, so you know that you're not alone in this, and that isolation is not from a place of truth, but that's from a lie. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, I'll see you next time.